hungry. Alex, take us into the end segment here, and I think we're on the subject of PSHE.
Remarkably enough, Brian, when Ernest Moray referred his matter to the Terrorism Commissioner, it also came out in the report that the Metropolitan Police couldn't fingerprint him because the machine was broken. So it does happen a lot. Now, we started with Andrew Bridgen, Member of Parliament. He's now Member of Parliament for the Reclaim Party, Lawrence Fox's party. Reclaim the Net and other initiatives are part of the same stable. The latest is, I think, called Reclaim Education. And they, with Mr. Bridgen acting as host, had an event at the Houses of Parliament in one of the side rooms recently. And the other half of the partnership, besides Reclaim Education, is the Bad Law Project, a deliberate skit on the idea of a good law project run by Jordan Moore, isn't it, the Queen's Counsel. If we go back to the slide you've just flipped past, people can see that Dr. Anna Loutfi, who we're about to hear speak, is a barrister specialising in, among other things, human rights law, freedom of expression, and higher education. I don't know whether she would be a natural UK column sympathiser, but strange alliances are being forged in these times. Here's the first of 4 brief clips from her very impassioned and legally learned, a wonderful combination, speech in front of Lawrence Fox and Andrew Bridgen at the Houses of Parliament on what's going on with sexual, health and economic education. It's deliberately rolled into a blob. So she started by saying that schools are breaking the law by implementing the PSHE curriculum. Much of this is specific not even to England and Wales, but just to England. People will know that Wales has taken another route with its RSE, but it's the same idea. So many of these remarks will be confined to England only in the proper sense. But listen to Dr. Anna Loutfi's reason for her passion. Why are schools breaking the law in teaching this curriculum subject?
PSHE providers are increasingly obsessed with engaging school children in discussions about sexual arousal, sexual stimulation, sexual pleasure, touching and being touched. They are showing kids graphic sexual images that are designed clearly to excite and titillate. The Bad Law Project is currently engaged in consultations with criminal legal specialists as to whether some of these materials meet the NSPCC's definition of non-contact child sex abuse and whether PSHE lessons as taught may be criminal offences under the Sexual Offences Act 2003. And so... And I think this is what I really want to hammer home today. We are today putting schools, educational authorities and PSHE providers on notice, here and now, that there is strict liability for sexual offences committed against a child. And we say that PSHE activities conducted in the guise of robust sex education do meet the criminal threshold, particularly in respect of teaching children how to masturbate.
Now, in legal jargon, strict liability means it's no defence to say we didn't mean any harm, we were just doing as we were told. It's automatic liability. That was towards the end of the speech. Towards the beginning, the next clip will explain to us what other breaches of the law are involved.
The Equality Act 2010 is being misrepresented by the charity sector, by charlatans posing as educators, so that now trans or gender identity is treated as a protected characteristic under equality and anti-discrimination law. There is no such thing as trans or gender identity in law. There is gender reassignment, which is entirely different, and as Andrew also mentioned, a procedure available to persons of 18 and over. Schools have no business promoting the idea to minors under 18 that their healthy bodies need medical intervention and pretending that this is some sort of diktat of the Equality Act. And our bill makes that crystal clear. Secondly, we are going to sue the Department for Education. The Bad Law Project is preparing a class action brought by parents who will for the time being have to remain anonymous due to the pathetic state of free speech in this so-called democracy and because of risks to their personal security and their children's well-being were their identities to be publicised. These are parents whose children have been encouraged at school to socially or medically transition at considerable cost to both the children's and the family's mental and physical well-being. The parents are seeking to bring a joint claim in negligence against the department for actively promoting gender identity in schools, which we will define as gender ideology, and for failing to act on foreseeable harms caused by said ideology, and for allowing schools, local authorities and charities to politically indoctrinate children and ignoring and dismissing complaints brought to their attention by suffering parents.
And she went on to talk about the particular problem with autistic children and young people being nudged this way. And given Debbie's expertise in autism, a very sensitive and complicated issue, we'll be discussing that in extra time for subscribed members. In the next clip, she sounds, again, from the beginning of the talk, Dr. Loutfi sounds even more like a UK column viewer, perhaps even like David Scott.
Families have a legal jurisdiction over their children, and no amount of wordplay about LGBTQIA+ rights changes that legal jurisdiction. It is parents. It is parents who care unconditionally about their children, not money-making schemers and not government. The state is a terrible parent. Go and look at any children's care home in any country at any period of history and see how children fare compared with growing up in a family that they can call their own. But the pedagogical philosophy practiced in PSHE today is, what do parents know? Why is this happening? Well, this is my opinion, my personal opinion. The removal of children from the influence of loving parents at younger and younger ages makes them more susceptible to influence from third parties who have vested interests in promoting ideas and lifestyles to children for political or financial gain, as well as, I must say, for sexual gratification. What else is the relentless promotion in PSHE of something called gender identity? The heinous proposition that a child can be born in the wrong body and can literally buy a new identity with assistance from the third sector. The child is asked to question constantly whether he or she feels okay, and told you may not feel okay. Do you hate your body? Do you hate your adolescent body? Take another name, use a different pronoun, talk to a trusted adult about your intimate thoughts, not your parents. Don't trust or talk to your parents. Pause puberty, get skin grafts, take cross-sex hormones, bind your breasts, go online, seek out strangers who can help you, and let us know if you want to talk. If you have a sexual experience you want to talk about, if you hate your body, talk to us. Talk to us. This is PSHE.
The tinkling in the background was the division bell, by the way. For lack of time, we will save the final clip I took till extra time, but we will just show this slide in passing. Reclaim the Media has put this online under the title you see on screen. PSHE, as currently taught, is unlawful and criminal. Yes, the two are distinct in law. And Dr. Loutfi thinks both thresholds may have been passed, and this is her core expertise, so she should know. It will be in the show notes, so you can follow the link from there.
Okay, and I think we've got a and finally from you, Alex.
Yes, Air and Space Forces magazine, because that's two service branches in the US now since Trump, reports that the US Air Force is dropping the commander Vice. It's now deputy, and this is from very senior ranks downwards. And the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, Brown, said this redesignation, quote, is one of the several changes in motion to ensure we can execute our missions to fly, fight, and win. Air power anytime, anywhere. You can't do that with a vice marshal, can you? One more from me on the and finallys, I think, is this one of the classic memes, Batman slapping Robin. And we've shown some variants on this before. This one is the hapless Robin saying, "So Wagner are our friends?" And he gets slapped by Batman, who's ahead of the news curve. He says, Taliban are our friends. People who've watched UK Column News will know what that's about.
Okay, thank you for that. Well, I think it's a good thing to end on a bit of humour for today's news. We've covered some pretty heavy topics, but this is the reality of life around us. I must say, Alex, I'm very encouraged by seeing that lady barrister speak, because we need people within the legal profession to wake up to what's happening, because, of course, their own children are equally vulnerable. We'll leave it there. Alex, thank you very much for joining us. Debbie, thank you. For the audience, we will be back for extra in a few minutes. So If you're a subscriber to UK Column, stay with us. A big thank you to all of our audience, wherever you are worldwide. Your financial support is allowing the UK Column to grow. And on Friday, I will try and give a little update of the new studio, which has only been made possible thanks to the kindness and generosity of the UK Column audience. So a very, very big thank you for all you do from us. We'll be back in a few minutes. Bye-bye.